welcome to Kubefirst Live. I always want to party after that countdown. And you know what? With that many people on the screen, I think it's party time. It is a live stream of party. That's going to be awesome. If you are a technical person today, it's going to be something super interesting for you. And you know what? It's a first. It's a first because it's not just John and I. I mean, like in the past, at the beginning, we had Jared, but you know, he's the CTO, not that important. Now we have the real people making like you first and Colony, the real thing. We have people from the engineering team with us today. Super exciting. Super excited to be able to do that. You know, it was John and I and Jared would discuss for a long time to, try to, bring other faces like part of Construct, bring other faces to the live stream. And today is the day we start with two amazing people on our team. And for the like of you who don't know them, let's introduce themselves. So I don't know. Let's go, Muse. You're on top. Who are you?
Oh man, you put me on the spotlight. So my name is Muse. I'm a platform engineer here at Konstruct. I work on the Qfirst side, doing infrastructure related stuff, and I'm also consider myself the QA engineer for Colony and doing testing.
That's awesome. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. And we also have Rishi with us. Who are you, Rishi?
Welcome, guys. Myself Rishi. I'm a platform engineer at Konstruct with a love for Golang and Kubernetes. And apart from that, you can often find me engaged in chess and doing some gaming and often contributing some open source. And really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
A pleasure. Thanks for being here. Uh, and you know what? Who's the other face on the screen? There's that John guy. Who are you?
What's up, crew? Yeah, great to have you, Muse Rishi, on the show today. Yeah, I'm one of the co-founders, CEO of Construct, and excited for the show that we're gonna have today. We got some hot tech. The engineering group has just really pulled together some cool new features, and we're trying an initiative where we're bringing the engineering team more to the surface. We want to be coding in the public. We want you to see what we're up to as we're doing it. Get that early feedback. So keep the comments coming, keep the interest coming. Let us know what you're thinking. But yeah, Muse is going to show off some cool Proxmox stuff. We got Rishi going to show off some of our new multi-account AWS management stuff. And then I've got some new GPU clusters and CVO stuff that I'm going to show with some a little bit of AI magic. So should be a fun show.
That's amazing. That's the show. So John stole my line. I was going to introduce though, but it's fine. It's like, I know how you're excited about that, and I cannot blame you. That's going to be an amazing show. So, by the way, I'm Fred. I'm the developer advocate at Construct. So I am the friendly, social, approachable, technical face of the company. Which I used to be the only person doing that at like previous company, but now it's hard to define myself just like that because I have John who is a developer advocate at heart. I mean, like he's basically doing an amazing job to represent the company and talk about technical stuff. So I'm not the only one anymore. And you know what? I love that. My goal is to make every people on the team developer advocates. I always say like it's a team effort, it's a company effort. Obviously, it's my full-time role, but look, having Rishi on the show, it's part of like that grain goal of like having everybody represents the company in one way or another, and we are here on a good start. So on that note, I don't want to talk anymore because we have amazing demos. Let's start with Rishi. I want to learn more about that AWS multi-account feature that we released. So it's available. People can use it now. Actually, wait after the show, not right now, but you can start to use it after the show. So Rishi, mic is for you. Take the screen up and talk to us about that amazing new feature with the AWS Cloud.
Yes. So, hey guys, so we have been working on this multi-account AWS feature for quite some time. So, first question that I want to discuss is like, what is multi-account in AWS? So AWS provides a root account, and there are many children accounts that you can isolate your environments. For example, let's assume that your organization is having a root account, and you have many environments like a production environment, staging environment, testing environment, and security environment. So you want each of those environments to be isolated. And that's why you can deploy those particular cloud resources into a specific account. So let's assume account A, B, C, D, something like I told, like production, staging, test. So like what happens in AWS is each account is associated with 34 regions. If I'm not wrong, like AWS provides you to deploy resources across 34 regions in each account. So let's assume that you have 5 accounts, and let's limit the number of regions to only 5. So what are the possibilities of for you to provision a cluster? It's like 5 into 5. It's like 25 regions for you to provision your Kubernetes cluster, and that becomes painful when this number increases. Even 25 is like much painful number for you to like navigate into those AWS lazy loading pages, like going into the UI and waiting for the node groups to be created. Like if provisioning is one part, deprovisioning is another thing, because the steps involved in deprovisioning is like you need to delete those internet gateways, NAT gateways, load balancer, node group. By the time you do all these things, your day is gone, and like time is valuable, right? So, but with Kubefirst, you don't have to worry about that anymore, because within a very few simple steps, you are ready to provision a cluster in any account in any region just using our console. So, I will present the screen to show the architecture that we are using.
Awesome. And while you share your screen, I have some funny people watching us right now saying, Fred, approachable? Yeah, right. Yeah, I heard you. I see you, Jared. But no, he's a nice person. He did a great comeback about like, thanks for being your friendly face. But Jared is not the only one. There's a lot more people watching us. Thanks for just saying hi. Our friend, Steve, some of my favorite humans. Oh my God. And you know what, Steve? Just ping me after the show, and you're gonna get one of those. I'm gonna be more than happy to send you a T-shirt. And you know what? The next 5 people who like write that I want a T-shirt in during the stream, I'm gonna send you a T-shirt. I'm gonna be more than happy to do that.
How do I write myself? How do I write myself?
No, like I mean, people not on the show can get a T-shirt. Like people on the show, you already have plenty of those. So,
not anymore. These are some nice T-shirts.
They are some nice. They're comfortable. They're breathable. They're nice quality. I mean, I've been dealing with T-shirts in tech for years because that's kind of like the holy grail when you're in developer relation. That's the swag that everybody wants. And I've seen and I've had really bad quality T-shirts. I'm preaching for my own stuff, but I need to say our T-shirts are something else.
Yeah, and if the viewers can call the number down there, we'll give them for $19.99 just for 5 hours.
Only for 5 hours.
For 5 hours.
So that's going to be a hell of a show. Rishi, sorry about that. I know it's your demo right now, so we're going to stop talking. And please tell us about...
Okay. Can you see my screen? Is it visible?
Yes, it's good.
Cool. So before we like dive into the architecture, I want to like make some like definitions over here. So AWS uses something called IAM to control the resources that it allows us to provision. So IAM means identity access management. It's nothing but a set of rules and policies that you define to which say that what resources are allowed to access what resources. So there are like main.
I'm sorry, can you zoom in a little bit on the image?
Is this fine?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. So there are like mainly 3 ways of for you to like authenticate to AWS, to AWS or IAM. One way is that you give the access key and secret access ID. So those are like the long-lived credentials that you can directly get on your console UI. And the other way that is you assume a role. So when you assume a role, you get a temporary set of credentials that live for like in less than 24 hours. And another way is something called ARSA. So what is an ARSA? ARSA is nothing but IAM role for service account. So before I say what like IAM role for service account even means, like I want to say like in Kubernetes world, there is no concept of username and password. Let's take a resource such as pod. Like how the pod will authenticate itself to the API server. right? So it will assume the identity of a service account that it is attached to. So that's how the API server will know, okay, you are a valid, like you are saying who you are. So that's why in Kubernetes we have this service account entity that it allows the resources to identify themselves. So when we provision a management cluster, we have two of the pods named as crossplane pod and the kubefirst pod that are sitting in this management cluster. So crossplane is nothing but another open source tool that allows you to manage cloud resources. If you have heard something about Terraform, Terraform also allows you to manage the infrastructure management using HCL. But Crossplane is little different from Terraform. It is like Kubernetes native. It understands and leverages Kubernetes API server to manage the cloud resources within your Kubernetes cluster. So that was about Crossplane. And the kubefirst pod we are running, it's like a backend that allows you to list regions, yeah, and do some other backend stuff. So uh, for you to provision a cluster in account B, you need to give these two pods some specific permissions, which allows so that account B can trust them and allows them to manage resources, provision resources, deprovision the clusters and something like that. So for that we create this assign account B. So as I told, that assign is nothing but IAM role for service account. Just an higher level, it's nothing but a set of permissions that you give to these two pods to allow you to provision in this thing. So as the definition says there, which allows cross-plane and kubefirst to access resources, provision resources, and also um, there is something called as OIDC provider here. I want to talk a little bit about this thing, not going into much depth. If you have heard about how digital certificates work, right? So in digital certificates, we have something known as digital signature, which are signed by someone called CA authority, right? And that CA authority is trusted by our browser. And that's why if you can see that whenever we visit any website, we see that lock padlock on our, on this link that says that, okay, this guy is like a verified. Basically, everything works on the concept of mutual trust, right? Just I'm giving an overview here. So in the same way, when you provision a management cluster in account A, each management cluster will come with something known as OIDC provider. And you need to say account B that you need to trust this OIDC provider, because when Crossplane and KeepFirst or make any request to access some resources, the account B should authenticate these two requests. Okay, you're saying yourself to be a Crossplane, but how can I say, how can I trust you, right? So Crossplane will come with a something like a directory token analogous to a digital signature, which will be signed by this OIDC provider. And if you trust it in account B, then I think I may be going much into technical depth, but it's just to authenticate these parts that you need to provide this particular OIDC endpoint. But without making any further ado, I want to dive into the demo. So yeah, so to do all this, you don't need to go into the console UI and do anything. We actually have a repo which allows you to run the Terraform script, which attaches all those policies to this particular kubefirst and crossplane pods and creates an ARSA, and it's gonna pop you that the role ARN. So what is a role ARN? It's nothing but a unique identifier for whatever you create on AWS, right? So let's take a look. So maybe Fred will link you to the repo for the Terraform script where we have all the policies attached and
Already there, my friend.
yes.
Rishi, would you mind zooming in a little bit on your terminal? Just make it a little bigger for us.
Yes.
And while you do that, we have Jesus who say, "Hi, team. Don't be sad, Jesus. I will find a reason to bring you on the live stream too. I will try to bring everyone on the team."
Yes. So here, so some of the things to keep in mind before we run the Terraform script is you need to export the AWS secret access key and access ID, because each account will be associated with a set of credentials. and we need to create and assign account B and not in any other account. So we need to be sure that we export those environment variables properly when we are running our Terraform script. I have already exported, like I can't show those variables now, but make sure you do that. And another important thing is we need to create a file known as terraform.tf So what
Can
this
you
file,
zoom your terminal a little bit? Sorry, my friend.
this is like a maximum I can zoom. Is it visible?
That's good enough.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay, so here we define two variables that we need to run the script for, the OIDC endpoint that I just spoke about and the management cluster name. So how do you get this OIDC endpoint? So you get this OIDC endpoint if you go to the console UI. Oh, okay, need to sign in. Just give me some seconds.
It's
Elevator,
AWS.
please.
And once you're done that, do you know what I'm going to ask? If you can zoom a little bit the browser.
Yeah.
And for those of you that want to know how it's working, I'm sharing a URL to a blog from AWS that will tell you a little more about how to dive into high-end roles for service accounts. So basically, that's going to explain what Rishi is going to show you right now.
Yes. Let me log into the console. So here we have the management cluster that we have provisioned in AWS account, which is called Livestream, right? So to get that OIDC endpoint, you just need to click on the Livestream, and here you'll be having that OIDC connector endpoint. So all you need to do is just copy this thing, go back to your work thing, and you just need to paste it here and give the management cluster name. And all you need to do now is run Terraform init. So it's gonna like download all those modules, and you need like I'm directly running apply now because I know it will work. So it's gonna create and trust and everything in the downstream account that I had already provisioned and created that role. So it says that 0 added because I already have that thing over there. And it just outputs this beautiful thing known as role ARN that I just spoke about. It's nothing but a unique identifier for that particular asset that we created. So all you need to do is, copy this thing, go back to our, okay, I need to,
Rishi, while you do that, did you say that like the output was a beautiful thing? Because that's the first time
yes,
I hear someone talk about RRM as a beautiful thing. And you know what? I like that. It's nice.
yes, one to you. Yes. So this is our management cluster that we have provisioned. And for the cloud, for you to leverage the cloud accounts in AWS, all you need to do is go to this section. So by default, we allow you to deploy the resources in the same account without running any Terraform script. For example, if you don't want to use any multi-account, and if you want the clusters to be provisioned in the same account itself, you don't need to run any Terraform script. By default, we have those policies attached, and yes. So now for that, to begin with, so here I'm going to cloud account, AWS. Maybe I'll give it some name like account B. Yeah. And I'm going to paste that thing here, add cloud account. And if I go to this cluster management thing, add workload cluster. So we give two types of cluster, physical and virtual. So I'm just going to, and what's a live stream.
I was on mute. Can you do Muse is awesome?
Upstream. Oh, you want me to do it? Okay.
I'm pretty sure that would make the cluster provision fail right away.
Come on, Rishi. I'll make it 10 times faster.
That's the Easter
So
Easter. You got to sweet talk AWS.
I'll just give to it. Yes. So we can select whatever region we want to deploy the cluster to. Maybe I'm not sure. I always deploy in Northeast 3. I don't know why I do that, but yes. And I'll just keep the nodes to be 1. And if we hit create cluster, what it's gonna do is it's gonna modify the GitOps registry in your GitHub account, it will add those particular files, YAML files that Argo CD will pick up to provision the cluster. So if I go to this thing here, view Argo CD clusters, and okay, so yeah, so here we see, before I come into here, we see like we by default we allow you to like deploy some default resources such as cert manager, cert issuers, cluster secrets store, external secrets, because let's imagine that you need to get started very early, and for example you deploy some web application and you want those certs and everything, the networking part to be, you know, resolved. We for that reason we, you know, by default use these things. Now this is the main thing where the crossplane tries to pick up that role and provision it
Rishi,
into your door.
can you zoom again? I'm sorry, I'm super annoying, but it's for the benefit of the viewers. And
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
sorry.
getting old. I need bigger and bolder stuff.
Yeah, thank you, Fred.
No issues. So we see here that the crossplane has picked up the workflow, and I think we can check in our particular, which, what is the region I deployed in? Okay, not this three. Okay, let me, okay, I'll zoom in first, then I will check it. Yeah, not this three. AWS, that's all. Okay, it's like it takes some time for it to like provision it, but you know, AWS is little slow in that matter. But we'll in some time while the demo gets finished, we'll be having a healthy cluster here, or in some time we will actually see like cluster provisioning here. So yeah, that was about AWS. And even if you feel that all these IAM rows and everything is like above your head, I would like, what I would like you to do is go to your browser, go to co.com, start using CO, because we are getting that multi-account thing soon in the CO also. And CO is like much faster, affordable, reliable. And yeah, I love it. So yeah, so this was about the feature that we have implemented regarding multi-account. It's like a centralized management tool, right? Like think about you going to this particular UI, like going to particular regions, like signing in, signing out of all those accounts, and think about this tool, like where you just need to run the Terraform script and you can like provision hundreds of clusters. So like this is like a main use case of centralized management and allows you to manage resources. That's the main important thing. Let's assume that you deploy a cluster and you forget it and it's gonna like burn your build, right? So it allows you to also like be a good side at saving money, because that money is important, right? So yeah, that was about what I wanted to speak about. Hope you liked it. If you didn't understand anything, yeah, see, we got a person named Muse is awesome that's getting created in our management account. Yes. So in some time, you know, all the these things will get healthy and we'll have a healthy cluster running. So in this way, you can like provision cluster. And if you have not understood anything or you find some difficulty, we are always like open in the, and you know, helping in Slack at any time. So you can make sure that you can drop over there and reach out to us. And yeah, thank you, everyone. This was all about, I wanted to show that we have worked on, and I would love Muse and Fred to take up on, because Muse is going to talk about some crazy Kubernetes on bare metal thing. So over to Fred.
That's awesome. Great job, Rishi. I need to say, I don't know if I need to say that, but I feel like I'm gonna say that. That was the first time that Rishi was doing that kind of presentation on live stream, and I need to say this publicly while everybody's listening. You did an amazing job, man. Good job
Yes.
on the demo. That was great. And for folks that want to try this, it's already available. My God, it's already available. Why I'm struggling with that word. It's already
Available.
possible.
Got you, dude.
Yeah, it's already possible to use it right now. This is why synonyms exist. So it's already possible to use it right now, but it's so hot out of the press that it's not in the documentation yet. So as Rishi was saying, if you need any help, if you're looking for to like how to use this, join our Slack community. The links is at the bottom right now, the banner, and we're gonna be more than happy to help you. But fear not, that's gonna be in the docs soon enough. You're gonna have all the information. And I don't know if I can say that, but like AWS is a first step. Like, is we headed to the first cloud, and the goal will be to have that kind of feature on other clouds too. But we heard the crowd that was loud about AWS and something that like people needed. So we focused on this cloud first.
Yeah, no, we've had a lot of interest for this particular feature from larger organizations and high security organizations. We know that in high compliance environments, having account level isolation helps you establish least privilege to the engineers that you're allowing to access your account, and establishing that boundary is super important to a lot of organizations that just want a decent security posture, or that are trying to be in compliance with some, some compliance boundary, and they need to establish that their production boundary, accommodates a particular security posture. You can now provision workload clusters in that downstream high compliance environment on Kubefirst, while allowing a more frictionless environment for your development environment, for your DevOps environment, whatever. Or you can move those to isolated accounts as well. We have there's no downside to account creation other than the very simple steps that Rishi put on screen today. So really great job today, Rishi. I think that was a feature that a lot of people have been anxious. I say anxious for. I've heard the need for this particular feature for over 2 years. So we're really excited to start releasing this to the public. Like Fred said, we're starting with AWS. I understand that we just got SIBO finished, so that'll be coming out in a patch release also, and then we'll just continue to iterate through the clouds until everyone's got multi-cloud.
That's amazing. And now, because we are Konstruct now, and we don't only have Kubefirst as a product, we're going to do a quick switch to our second product, Colony, with a demo and explanation from Muse, the cool stuff we're working on. But do not worry, do not fear, people. If you are a Kubefirst fan, we still have one demo after Muse for another cool thing that we had to Kubefirst. So, Muse, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Fred. So Colony is the latest product that we're developing at Konstruct. We're aiming towards large organizations, data centers, and basically people who have a bunch of machines, just like me. What it allows you to do is with a single click install Kubernetes cluster in your data center. I know that sounds really whack, but I'll show you in a second how that is possible. Colony is it's a little different than Kubefirst. Kubefirst is something that you install in your account, while Colony has 3 components. First one is the API that runs in our cloud, which the agents that you install in your cluster is able to talk to. The agent is able to push updates and get metrics back to the cloud. And you have a lightweight agent called Colony that runs on each machine that sends data back to agent. So that's the architecture sides of it. I'm going to start sharing my screen and show you.
Sorry, I thought I caught you in between 2 sentences. Before we go to the demo music, can you put your mic volume a little bit higher? I adjusted it before, but now I think you physically lower it, and it's too low.
Is it better now?
It is better now. Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks. And the screen is yours.
So I'll start from the UI. So this is what Colony looks like. Before Fred said something, I'm going to zoom in.
Amazing. I don't even have to say it.
Yeah. So this is your assets page. This page lists the instances, or the machines that you have in your data center. It shows you information such as the IP address, the memory, the CPU, and when the last heartbeat was received by the agent. The cluster. Sorry, guys. Let me just sign in. The clusters is the section where you create clusters. Right now I have about 6 or 7 clusters that I created. You're able to create a K3s cluster or a Talos cluster. More support coming soon. And if you want to do something whack, something creative that we don't support, you can create your own template and apply it to your machines. I'll be doing my testing today in Proxmox. For those of you who don't know Proxmox is a type 1 hypervisor, or type 2 depending on your ask. It's analogous to a virtual box running in your machine, but it takes over the entire machine. and you're able to provision VMs, and it has a nice UI. This machine is running in my right next to me. It's an AZ2, AZ1 being Jared's house, AZ2 being my house. This one has about 300 gigabytes of memory, much larger for for our purposes. I'll be doing a demo from a fresh machine so that I can show you what the process looks like installing Colony in your data center. I've created a template right here. I'm going to clone it. This is the reason why I like Proxmox as well. You can create templates and you're able to provision them in an instance. I'm going to call it laptop 02. And under 10 seconds, I'll have a VM. I don't think any cloud provider can do that.
No, and I'm still amazed by the memory you have. I'm fighting every day with my like 32 gigabyte of RAM, and this guy's like, yeah, let's just create like a VM of that size. No big deal. I have enough like resources to do that. Did you hear the sound of jealousy in my voice when I was talking about that?
No, I did not. I did not, Fred. So it takes a second to boot up. And these are all the machines that I provisioned earlier. I'm going to drop, once this boots up, I'm going to drop straight to my terminal since it's easier to run the commands. I'm going to zoom in here as well. Oh, come on. Right here. Is it good enough? 86, I believe.
Yep.
Can you zoom again, maybe?
Yes, sir. Let me just get the IP address. Is 186. So the requirement for running Colony are basically 2. I'll send you some ROMs, Christian. I'll upload them. You can download them.
Yeah.
The only requirements for Colony is that you need to have a Linux machine and Docker installed. I'm going to go ahead and install Docker. I'm going to use... no. I can't type.
Thank you.
I'm going to use this link on GitHub for Docker. It's a one-liner script that installs Docker in your machine. Installs the correct binary if you're in your Red Hat or whatever. I highly suggest that you look up the script, any script that you're running on your machine, but I think I can trust Docker. So that's going to take a minute. And then while that is doing, I can probably create a couple of machines. Ooh, the screen is too big. I'll SSH into this machine. There's no magic word for Docker to install faster. You can't do Muse is awesome. Just gotta wait.
It's still pretty good. I mean, like, I didn't know about that repo until you shared a link with me, but like I remember installing Docker on Linux was like a pain in the past.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you don't have to, install. You don't have to like add a repository and whatever. You just
exactly.
paste it, you're done. I'm gonna add my user. So this is one thing that you need to do. You need to add your user to the Docker group. And if you're running Debian, it needs a restart, or you need to start a new session. I'm going to just exit out, come back in. And I am going to run, I'm going to get this Colony binary. Right now it's in our object store. Like Fred said, this is fresh out of the oven. You guys are the first ones, actually seeing it, run. Give it a second. Here she comes. And to run Colony, you need 3 things. One is the API key, which you can go to colony.construct assets and generate an API key. The second one is the interface on the machine that you want Colony to listen and discover machines in. You can run IPA to get a list of interfaces on your machine. On my machine, I have a single interface called ETH0. I'm going to use that. And the third parameter that you need is an IP address in your network that you want Colony to respond to. So you guys are going to bear a little with me while I get the fields, API key, and please don't copy my API key. Don't screenshot. And load balancer IPs, I'm going to keep it 192.68.2.100, and the interface is.
And if you want to try this at home, try Colony. We have our documentations, so it's always possible for you to go look at the amazing documentation that our technical writer wrote for Colony. You have all the information there.
It takes about less than 2 minutes to install every component. We install Tinkerbell as part of the Colony installation. We also install a KCS that is running inside Docker. Give it a few minutes. And additionally, I'm going to apply these 4 YAML files. These basically contain the ISO image that we want to boot. They're going to include Ubuntu and Talos. In the future, we're going to add these into the CLI so that you don't have to do it. For now, I'm going to do an apply. 120 seconds. Anybody have a joke to tell while we wait?
I know Fred's got some elevator music at least.
Actually, yeah, it's been a while I didn't play this one. I swear to God, I don't dance like this for real.
Yes, he does. Don't listen to him.
God.
Like I got my cluster healthy. If you want me to show by the time this thing gets done, I'm happy to show that also.
And Bill was dancing too. So the elevator music always does the trick. I use it even in real life. So when John and Jared do demos and I'm the same conference and they were waiting for something and like there is like a downtime. Like last conference, it was at Civo Navigate, and John was like, "Fred, elevator music," and I was really not ready. So found it, played it. People left in the room, and that gave us enough time to wait for the stuff to be prepared for the demo. So elevator music. If you are a public speaker, if you do live stream, it's always good to have this in your pocket. It's a tool for you to be successful. And speaking of being successful, I don't know, that made me thought about that. But while we wait for Muse to apply the YAML file, if you are at KubeCon next week, guess what? We're gonna be there. John's gonna be there. Jared's gonna be there. Bill's gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. Muse is gonna be there too. It's gonna be there too. So if you want to talk to us about your cloud native journey, you want to learn more about Kubefirst, you want to know about Kubefirst Pro, you want to like have some advice and understand better Colony, you want to discuss like how it's happening in your business. We're gonna be there, more than happy. Or just want to get to know us in person, have a coffee. More than happy to do that. You know it by now. If it's not your first live stream, we are social-based creature. So we're going to be more than happy to say hi. We don't have a booth. We decided to, go commando in KubeCon and, just go see all the booths and go see a couple of talks also, because when you're in booth duty, it's really hard to go see talks and having time to talk to other people that are not coming to your booth. So that's going to be a different experience, but we're really excited about that.
Awesome. So Colony has finished installing. Sorry, let me turn this windows away. I'm going to run this command. This is the bash script that I have that creates 2 VMs, and it's going to it's going to start from ID 280. You're going to see right here, 2 virtual machines are going to come up, and in a second, in my Colony UI, you'll see 2 machines pop up. See, that was fast. That was faster than I expected. So it's discovering them, and in a little bit, it will change the status to available. That means I'm able to go ahead and install a Kubernetes cluster. A little bit about these machines. These machines are configured to PXE boot. The first option is the first boot option is to boot from their hard disk. If not, Pixie boot. So it's Pixie booting right now because there's nothing in the operating system. Give it a minute, and I can show you what the console looks like. It bootstraps HookOS on it.
And just to
then
be
runs
clear
through-
sorry, I was going to say, just to be clear for people, like Proxmox is a way for us to create those VM to like easily demo Colony, so it's not like part of Colony itself. It's just a cool open source technology that we're using, and we wanted more people to know about it. And also, you know what, brag a little bit about like how amazing Colony is. So,
Yeah. Okay, and in a second it should be available. Awesome. And the hard part is done actually right now. We installed Colony. We created 2 machines. Colony is able to provision to discover them. Now I can go ahead and say, you know, create me a cluster. I'm gonna pay back. Rishi is awesome. And I'm gonna give my gateway my network, which is 192.168.2.1. And then I'm going to select this machine, the first machine, to be my control plane, and I'm going to give it a static IP address. In my network, 168.2.150. Is 150 a good number?
I like it.
120. And I'm going to say select the disk. It has 32 gigabytes. All the disks that you have show up here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to next. I'm going to select the second node. I'm going to put 22 as the next IP address and create a Kubernetes cluster. Unlike AWS, this takes about 3 minutes to provision and come into a ready state.
Easy. I got good friends at AWS.
yeah,
Easy.
be careful here.
While we're waiting that, I have a machine. I don't know. Let me pull up the StreamYard. I have a machine. I don't know if you're able to see it. Right now it has an Ethernet cable plugged in. I haven't plugged in power. Let me grab power. I'm going to plug it in, power it on, and you're going to see, fingers crossed, you're going to see it pop up in the assets list. It's turning on. I can hear the fans. Too early. And in a little bit, it would show up under my assets, and I'm able to provision a cluster with it. You can actually provision, you know, all kind of IoT stuffs, Raspberry Pi, anything that's able to Pixie boot.
How long does that box take to boot up?
About 30 seconds. I think it does some custom checking or whatever.
Neat.
But give it a minute.
Oh,
There it
she
is. Yes. And then in a second, it's going to be Discovery. It's going to be available to install.
What kind of hardware does that have in it? How much CPU and memory?
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention that. So this is a Dell 790. It has an Intel vPro. We specifically bought it for that so that we could use Mesh Commander to go in there and use Mesh Commander as IPMI. This has 16 gigabytes of memory. Once it discovers, you'll be able to see it, and 12 cores of CPU.
Very cool.
It's 10th gen i5, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
The reason Muse is using a virtual background is that if you remove the virtual background, everything you see behind him is a pile of like servers and computers and like desktop, and like it's just like an infinite pile of hardware.
Yeah, I'm really tempted to bring up one of the machine and Pixie put it. Oh my god! There it is. Ah, like. This is about 4 terabytes of storage, 128 gigabytes of RAM, and 2 CPUs, a Xeon first gen, I believe.
Yeah.
Can I have a request? Let's stop talking about RAM, please.
So I'll jump to Proxmox and show you one of the machines. One of the machines has booted up Talos. It's able to see it's now installing it, and I can jump to the second machine. I believe this one is the control plane. Stage is running. It's going to be ready in a little bit and in the UI the status. Oh, actually both are ready,
Sweet.
and that wasn't bad. Rishi, is your cluster up?
Yes, it is. It was like long before you even provisioned it. So,
Um,
I mean, I just provisioned a single node. That's why. If you'd had
I,
provisioned 5 nodes, then it would have taken
I
2 hours.
thought I'd beat you to it. So I downloaded. So you're able to download the kubeconf file from here. I've already downloaded. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna run some kubectl apply commands and show you actually it's provisioned. I'm gonna jump onto my machine. I'm gonna export my kubeconfig. Oh, and downloads. It's 8 something. And I can do kubectl get notes, as you're able to see. What did I miss? I missed something. Yep. I am using fish shell, so the cube export command doesn't work.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, I gotta use set, and I think I need to do -x to export. And you can see my 2 nodes, a control plane and a and yeah, that's all about Colony. My machine is available to boot. I can see 16 gigabytes of RAM and 12 CPU of cores.
Unreal.
I don't know what else is amazing. Single click Kubernetes cluster and you're good to go. You're a hero by lunchtime.
Hero by lunchtime.
Hero by lunch. I love that. I love that. For folks that wants to learn more, go on construct.io/colony. This is where all the information is. And usually, like for Kubefirst, if you need more information, you need help, you want to try it, or something that is not working, things you want the docs improve, whatever, you can talk to us, come to the Slack community, and we gonna be there to help you. And you know what, the amazing thing, since we more than double our team, it's not only like just John Jared and I helping, like we have a lot more people active in the community. I see Muse and Rishi all the time helping folks, so you are in way better hands right now than you used to, so just come talk to us.
Yeah, definitely. So is that all you got to show on this, Musa? You feeling good?
I can continue going on if you want me.
I know you can. I think it was all day. We shouldn't let him. We shouldn't let him go to town. We'll be here till midnight, Fred.
Oops, your screen is not on shared anymore. I don't know what happened.
No, Musa, that was a really incredible demo. I know that there's probably a lot of folks that are paying attention to us because of our introduction to Colony and our expansion into the bare metal space. And with that, we know that there is a lot of desire for new. It's a shifting landscape in the virtualization space, I think is how I should say that. And with that shifting landscape, we know that there is going to be a lot of organizations with interest in moving to data centers, first of all, with interest in changing the way that they're delivering software to virtualized environments. And we think that we have a really compelling strategy to shift that architecture into a cloud native implementation. And right now, Colony and Kubefirst are very, they're kind of at arm's length from each other, but that's not going to last forever. And it's only a matter of a handful of more bricks to be laid before we are not only able to install Talos and K3S clusters, but also Kubefirst management clusters or Civo enterprise stack clouds, or you name it. There's truly no cap to what we can do on Colony. It's an incredibly extensible architecture. So definitely looking for organizations who are looking to transform their application delivery in a bare metal hybrid cloud or data center environment. We're also very, very interested in talking to home lab users. And we know that a lot of home lab environments are kind of Proxmox driven. Muse really did a great job spearheading the development of the Proxmox implementation for us. And we would love to meet you wherever you are in your home lab environment. So if it seems like we're real close to giving you what you want, but it just needs X, Y, and Z, just tell us what X, Y, and Z is and consider it done. So we're real excited about that. Great demo, Muse. And last but not least, do you want to talk some AI stuff, or do you have anything else?
Not yet, but
Okay.
we will do. So just before that, we had Jesus who said, kudos, it's amazing. He is part of the team. But you know what? There is someone else who's not part of the team. So the round was like, kudos too. So we will take all of those. And John, before we move to the last demo of the show, I think Rishi's cluster is fully provisioned. So I think you wanted to like just show it to people to say like, you know, there's no black magic, like it really happened, it works. So please share your screen, my friend. And we just want to show, we like to prove to people that like everything we demo is real.
Yes. So we got a healthy cluster here. Okay, or should I zoom in more? Yes. And if we go to Argo CD, are you able to see my Argo CD screen here?
Yes. Oh no,
Yeah,
no,
so
yeah,
we
right now, yes.
not yet. Okay, maybe I need to.
No, you're good.
We see it now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we got all the cert manager, cert issuer, cluster, external secrets, the infrastructure, everything provision, and if I, yeah. So that was about how you can like provision it, and this was faster than Muse even like when he was like installing Colony. This was up, yeah. So just wanted to mention. Well, anyways,
Fellas, it's not a race, except it is. It's totally a race.
I like that. I like that. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, other kudos coming from Jairo and Sudaram. Colleen will soon colonize workflows.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do
I
it.
like that. And just before we move to John's demo again, I have something else to say. Muse also did an amazing job. As far as I know, it was also the first time on live stream. So amazingly good job. Thanks for the great demo. And if you liked Muse as a speaker, I invite you to. There's going to be in the meetup in November. It's Python New Zealand. You don't need to live there. It's online. Muse I was going to talk about GitLab. I don't know if you want to just like say 10 seconds what's going to be your talk. So this is going to be a little bit too late or too early for me. I really like you, Muse, but I'm not going to join that meetup. But for the people that are in the right time zone, what are you going to talk about?
So I'll be touching base. I'll be giving an introduction about GitLab CI and how you can use GitLab CI to superpower your workflows. It's going to be a Python-focused talk and how you can use GitLab CI to with your Python workflows.
Amazing. And last comment before we move to you, John. And I keep postponing John, but that's going to be Steve was saying the Cloud Native Club. This is going to be super useful for workshops. I agree. So on that note, I want to learn more about the Civo GPU cluster that we now have and like some AI stuff that you wanted to demo for us today, John.
Yeah. Let me share my screen out and show you literally the capacity of what I know about AI. So we have here, if you can just kind of close your eyes and imagine that we just left the AWS cloud and then left the data center cloud. And now we open our eyes and we're suddenly in the Civo cloud. If everyone can just take that leap of faith with me. We're in a self-hosted cluster, management cluster that's bound to the Kubefirst.com domain. This is if you had the domain acme.com and did an install of your own, this would be kubefirst.acme.com. So this is just my self-hosted instance in my Civo cloud. And here you can see that we have a management cluster, just like Rishi was showing us a second ago. And there's this new type of cluster over here called a GPU cluster. And this is a new feature that we're introducing to provide our end users with an easy way to run GPU workloads. And we know that a lot of our users are going to want GPUs for AI purposes, but there's all kinds of good reasons to use GPU clusters, and they're all equally good in our book. But we do have some special sugar that we drop in our GPU clusters to make them instantly valuable to you as well. So the way that this is going to work is when you go to create a workload cluster in the Civo cloud, where Rishi was showing us earlier, there was physical and virtual in the AWS cloud. In the Civo cloud, we have physical, virtual, and GPU clusters. And so let's click GPU cluster here, and we'll give it a name of demo cluster. Or no, that's a bad. That's a fun name. And then, so you're limited with GPU clusters to only the regions that have GPUs available. So we have this dynamically being constructed so that you're able to place your GPU clusters in whatever regions have GPUs available. So you don't have to do that research on your own. I'm going to drop mine in LUN 1, and these are all the different sizes. For a GPU cluster, you can literally just pick the smallest one available, and you can drop the number of nodes down to 1 if you want to. And we do want to warn you guys, the GPU use is just expensive, and that's not particular to any specific cloud. Across all the clouds, GPUs are just more expensive. It's how the world works. So we do want you to be mindful of that when you're provisioning clusters. They're more expensive than typical clusters would cost. But with that said, all you have to do is click Create Cluster. For the GPU clusters, we do warn you that there's going to be some additional charges because they're GPU oriented clusters that we're provisioning. And then you hit Create Cluster, and then basically the end result is this. You'll have a new cluster, and you can drop into it in Argo CD. And give me just one sec.
And what you see right now is because we have IDC and we use Vault as a way to connect to other applications that are in our cluster. So John was just logged out. So it brings him to the Vault page, just logged in, and voila, he's back to our GoCD magic.
Thank you, buddy. And let me zoom in, play well with the others. And so there's only this one GPU cluster, and you can see, just like Rishi was showing us, we don't just create empty clusters, we create valuable clusters with stuff in them that are valuable to your business. So our GPU clusters come very similar to our physical clusters. They come with all your usual suspects of Ingress Nginx, an external secrets operator that's automatically bound to your Vault instance in your management cluster. It comes with, cert manager, external DNS, reloader, a handful of usual suspects tools that you'll find in pretty much every cluster of ours. But we have some new features as well, particularly, where is it? Open Web UI. So Open Web UI here is a new application that we by default deliver with your GPU clusters. But if you ever didn't want that included in your template, we allow you to control the templates of what gets delivered to your cluster. So you would just have to go to your GitOps repo, go to your templates, go to your GPU cluster. And then if you were to remove this file 50 Olama UI, then you just wouldn't receive that on your next cluster that you provision. So you can adjust what gets installed to your clusters pretty easily. But we set this up with a GPU operator so that you can use it as a Kubernetes cluster, and with Open Web UI so that you can start to use ChatGPT-like experience with a whole bunch of different models that are available to you. So let's take a look at what that looks like. I have never logged into this instance, so I hope it goes well. And when you go in for the very first time ever, it's going to tell you that you can sign up if you don't have an account, which I don't. So I'm going to say, set me up one, please. I'm John at Konstruct.io. And I'll give myself a password, create an account, and now I'm in. Now, when you drop in for the first time, you'll see that there are no models available. But models are pretty easy to add to this ecosystem. And you can see the web UI looks a lot like a chatbot web UI, looks a lot like ChatGPT. Up here in the top right corner, let me zoom in just a little bit. Up here in the top right corner, you have this admin panel. And if you drop into your admin panel and switch over to settings, and I need to zoom out just a little so I can calibrate. If you go to models here, then you can pull models directly from ollama.com. So if you click this link, it'll show you all of the different models that they have available. And for each one of these models, they'll list the labels that are available to show you the variation of that model that you would be downloading. To give you an example of how it works, I'll use the one that they give us here, Mistral 7B. So Mistral is the name of the model, and 7B is the name of the label. So whatever value you see down here goes on the right of the colon, whatever value you see up here goes on the left side. And then all you have to do is say, give it to me. And it starts to pull it down for you. It's relatively quick. Some of the larger models could take a good amount of time. So, we start you out by default with this application having a 50 gigabyte persistent volume claim attached to it. So you can download up to 50 gigs worth of models into this instance without any adjustments. If you need to make an adjustment, it's easy to get to. All you have to do is go to your Ollama, not in your templates, but in your actual instance under your registry. If you go to your cluster and go to your Ollama UI instance, you could change the size of your persistent volume. You could also change the name of the host that it's running under. Like right now, it's listed as ollama.kubefirst.com, and that's just because of that particular configuration there. So you can change that to whatever you want. But the end result is that once you've downloaded a model, which it looks like this is done, you can go back to the dashboard, or sorry, back to the workspace, and select your model here. I'll pick Mistral 7B. And now you can use that model. But unlike using this at like OpenAI or wherever, this is all in your privately hosted Civo GPU cluster. So the data never leaves your cluster. The data never leaves your organization. It's just between you and your GPU cluster, the content that you're putting in here. So I know there's a lot of organizations that are sensitive to the fact that they don't want to start using AI because that in their minds means that you have to, send your sensitive proprietary content to a cloud organization or something. And you don't have to do that. You can self-host your own models and use those models directly, and it never leaves your control. So tell me a little about Kubefirst. You can see this thing works pretty well. It's about as accurate as models are in the real world. So you can explore all the different models that they have here, pull them in, see how they work for you. Yeah, I think that's oh no, there's one other detail that I wanted to put on screen, which is that if you go like right now, I was using the Mistral 7B when I started this conversation with chat with the application. But if I go back to the admin panel and add just one more oops, I should have done that. Admin panel, settings, models, and let's pull down one more model. Let's pull down Llama 3.2. We'll do the 1B of Llama 3.2. So I do llama 3.2 7b. Was it 7? No, 1b, sorry. And pull that guy down. And we'll leave this on screen for just a second so you can see the whole operation flow. Once it downloads it, it has to unpack it. It feels kind of like a Docker container almost.
And so when you use a GPU cluster, you have this installed by default, but basically GPU cluster is going to be useful for everything intensive, usually like machine learning stuff or like generative AI. So there's going to be the cluster you want to use. And while we are waiting for Helema to extract, we had a comment from the Cloud Native Club, which I agree heartfully with. The comment is it's not a cluster until it has Kubefirst installed. And I agree about that. By the way, folks, if you don't know the Cloud Native Club, go on community.thecloudnativeclub.co.uk. Great community for cloud native enthusiasts, and they have a show too. It's called Spotlight, if I'm not wrong. And the good thing is that I don't have the details with me. I should have. I didn't thought about it. But John and Jared's going to be in a show on their show really soon, and we're going to share the details on social media. So keep your eyes open. That's going to be pretty amazing. And we have someone. I don't know who's that person. Kunal, who says, "What's up?" Hey, Kunal. Oh.
My man,
always happy to see you. Thanks for joining us. And about the Cloud Native Club, thanks, Steve. It's Project Spotlight that is called, and also My Journey series. So we're gonna have John and Jared on the two shows. One in November, the other one in February, I think.
February, yeah, end of February.
Yeah, so I'm going to share more details once it's going to be published online. Check the social media, and that's going to be another interesting show for you. Actually, my God, Steve is doing my job for me. Thanks, Steve. So the Kubefirst Project Spotlight is going to be on November 28th at 6 p.m. BST. So don't miss that. That should be an interesting show.
What a perfect time filler. Just in time, we got our new model back. And what I wanted to show you that I think is like super cool is that this is basically like a chat session. And we started it out on Mistral 7B and asked it to, tell us some stuff. And I'm sure, if you're an AI practitioner, you know how this goes. You start talking to it, you start refining stuff, and it builds up the scope of conversation. But in the middle of that session, in the middle of that conversation, you can switch to a different model and then just keep the scope of that conversation intact while shifting the model implementation to a different model. So tell me about KubeCon. Now this answer is coming from Llama 3.2 instead of coming from Mistral 7B, but it's within the same scope of that conversation. So I thought that was a pretty neat trick that they implemented. And that's the last thing I wanted to get on screen. I'm sure we could talk about AI forever. I'm just the wrong person to do it. So, but no, in all seriousness, we do believe that there's going to be organizations that are concerned about using AI because of privacy, because of data sensitivity, because of compliance requirement. And self-hosting your own AI implementation does solve that problem for you. So if you want to be using AI and you're just not allowed to be sending it out to some SaaS, you don't have to. You can run it yourself. We showed you right here how easy it is to create a GPU cluster in the Civo Cloud. We automatically add the tools that you need so that you can just like I showed on screen, pull them down and use them. And you can use that within your organization. And we think that that's going to be really valuable to folks. If anyone experiments with this and feels like we're, again, close but missing the mark anywhere, we would love your feedback on that. We do want to make sure that we're providing a really good, valuable feature set here. And this particular feature set while it is on the Kubefirst Pro user interface, it is available on the free tier. So just install a Kubefirst platform. It automatically gets the Kubefirst Pro user interface, and you can pop in there on the free tier and just start provisioning GPU clusters in SIVO and using them, no cost to you. So hope you check it out and give us some feedback.
Yeah, and that's available on CVO. We started with CVO, but like anything we do at Kubefirst, at some point we're gonna add it to the other cloud. Like all other clouds have like GPU clusters, so we're gonna be able to propagate that feature to other clouds too.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that GPU hardware is just hard to come by. We might be unable. We can only make it available as it is in those clouds. So, but yeah, we absolutely. This is not a SIVO only feature. We just have only gotten to SIVO so far. Like everything we do at Kubefirst, we'll remain cloud agnostic and chip away at all the clouds with all the feature sets that we do.
Yeah, and that was not John's first time doing a demo on the live stream, but John, you still did a great job.
Oh, thanks so much, Fred. That's really nice to hear. I appreciate you.
And oh, we lost Muse. Hopefully,
I know,
everything's fine. Everything's
hope-
fine. Yeah, so I feel like we're reaching the end of the show. Folks, like we said all along during the show, if you have any questions, concern, if you tried things, you have any feedbacks, please let us know. We are on Twitter or X. We are on LinkedIn. We have our Slack community, which is probably the best place to join us and talk to us. We're always looking to hear about your story, learn more about your journey, and help you being successful with Kubefirst or Colony. So please let us know. As I said before, we are social people. And as a reminder, if you just join us, we're gonna be at KubeCon next week. So just let us know. We're going to stop by your booth. We're going to go have a coffee with you. We're going to try to go to the same talks and cross each other in the hallway or in one of the hallway of the conference venue. You should be interesting week at KubeCon. And Muse is slowly coming back to life in the live stream. On that note, as I said, we are reaching the end of the show. Rishi, do you have anything else you want to share with folks?
Nothing much. It's been an exciting experience to it's my actually first live stream, so I'm not sure how it went, but hopefully in the next live streams I can deliver better and bring in cool features and help the community because people want their life to be easier and Kubefirst is here to do that. So kudos to that.
Awesome. Thanks for rising to the challenge. I pinged Rishi and Muse actually like 2-3 days ago, and I was like, guys, you want to be on live stream? Like, you don't have to, but it would be nice. And both of them were like, fuck yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, amazing. And Steve saying, and I agree, you rock, Rishi. I agree with that. And I don't know if Muse is going to come back before the end of the show. It doesn't seem like it's to happen. It's the nice Muse's profile for pictures. No, that's a joke. John, any last word for the audience before we let people go?
I just really appreciate the engineering team showing up and helping us showcase some of these cool features. The Konstruct team is on fire. We're building faster than we can write it down on paper. So
I know.
Just stay tuned. And again, just a plea to the ecosystem that we are anxious for feedback on Colony, on Proxmox, on Home Labs, on GPU clusters, on multi-account, et cetera. Let us know how it's working for you. Let us know what we can do next. And we're anxious to knock those out too. So.
Yeah, and I know Muse is not here, but still thanks to you for joining, rising to the challenge. Good job, too, about your first demo in the live stream. And gentlemen, I have a question for you. Sorry, I cannot do those seriously anymore. Why can't SQL and NoSQL developers date one other?
Why can't SQL and non-SQL?
Because in NoSQL there is no table.
Yeah, it does have to do with the table.
Close.
The one without a table was
No.
afraid to join the relationship. I have no
Oh,
idea.
you're so close. You're so close. So why can't SQL and NoSQL developer date one another? It's because they don't agree on relationships.
There it is. There it is.
So
That's
on that note, lovely people, thanks everyone. Sorry, I was going to close the show, but Hyder was like, "No, Fred, please, no, not that show."
yes, Fred. Keep going.
I tell you, Hyder, for people that don't know, it's out of my decision right now. It's just like a tradition for the show. When I joined Construct, it was named Kubefirst at the time, and I joined the first show. I think it was my first week or something, and I was like, I have nothing to say because I do not know Kubefirst that much. I do not know what we're working on, and I was joining with the two experts like John and Jared. So I was like, I need to do something in the show, and I was like, I'm gonna like just tell a really bad developer jokes, and it seems like people liked it so much that like now it needs to be part of the show.
Oh, it's fully our DNA. There's no way we're doing a show without a joke. Even if you're not here, I'm doing a joke. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's
Awesome. And last two comments before we end the show. Great job from Jesus. Great job, team. This is just the beginning. I can't agree more. We've done so much in the last, like I've been at Construct for about 2 years. We've done so much since, and I agree, it's only the beginning. The team is amazing. We're building great product. It is only the beginning. And yeah, Steve had the answer. Sorry, I just saw that because they have trouble establishing a relationship. This is exactly that. So, folks, I'm done talking. Thanks for the people that join us live. Always a pleasure to see your comments, to have your questions. It's what makes the live stream even more lively than just us talking, just us doing demos. If you watch the recording, please, you can comment directly on YouTube. You can, again, also come to the Slack community and ask any question. And on that note, folks, have a good rest of the day and see you in 2 weeks for the next Kubefirst Live.
see everybody.